Hello. Good afternoon. Gonna go ahead and get started. Gonna invite a couple people. Gonna close the door first because it's real cold. For those who have not caught our live videos before, my name is Jewel. I'm a grateful recovering addict. Gonna go live with my brother-in-law Joe as soon as he gets on. Hey Amanda. Good. We're gonna talk about forgiveness. Well, we were trying to get our schedule straight because I'm a virtual assistant also, and my one client actually lives about an hour and a half from me. Hey Sam. And she's actually 20 minutes away from me today, so I'm gonna go meet her for lunch. Guys, I'm sorry my fingers are all up in the way. As soon as I get Joe on here, they'll be out of the way. And while he joins, I'm just gonna share this out. It says it's adding you, Joe. There you are. Yay.
Why do we have it? Because now I won't see the comments and shit.
I can see the comments. That's odd that you can't. The problem is I can't stand it up. You can't see me when I stand it straight up, so I had to turn it to the side.
I don't know.
I can move it after I read. So,
All right.
do you think I should read the one I sent you, the forgiveness one I sent you?
Yeah, you can. But you need to move this camera though so I can share it out to my groups.
Okay. It's probably not going to switch it now. You can't. Yeah, I can't turn it while I'm live.
You fucking up, yeah.
Sorry. I didn't want to do it in the house. It's too much in the house, and it's not. It's her car set up differently than the from the what you call it, from the Malibu. Okay, one last one, and I'm gonna go ahead and read. Which group were you gonna share it into?
I don't know what they're called, man. I'm only into like 2 or 3 groups.
I think the one you're in is Grateful Recovering Addicts, because I shared it in there yesterday, and then I noticed you did too. And so if that's the one, I don't know the other one now. Okay, one last thing. There, sorry. I'm just all kinds of messing up today, man. Because I couldn't go where I wanted to go. All right.
You're about to get fired, man. Come on.
Okay. So yesterday we asked about did anybody have any topics? Was there anything specific they wanted to talk about? And Josh said forgiveness would be a good one. So I have the gist for today, the daily meditation. But since we're going to talk about forgiveness, I looked for a gist for today that talked about forgiveness. So I'm actually going to read the one from September 7th, Resentment and Forgiveness. Where there has been wrong, the program teaches us the spirit of forgiveness. Basic text, page 12. In NA, we begin to interact with the world around us. We no longer live in isolation, but freedom from isolation has its price. The more we interact with people, the more often we'll find someone stepping on our toes, and such are the circumstances in which resentments are often born. Resentments, justified or not, are dangerous to our ongoing recovery. The longer we harbor resentments, the more bitter they become, eventually poisoning us. To stay clean, we must find the capacity to let go of our resentments, the capacity to forgive. We first develop this capacity in working steps 8 and 9, and we keep it alive by regularly taking the 10th step. Sometimes when we are unwilling to forgive, it helps to remember that we, too, may someday require another person's forgiveness. Haven't we all, at one time or another, done something that we deeply regretted? And aren't we healed in some measure when others accept our sincere amends? An attitude of forgiveness is a little easier to develop when we remember that we are all doing the very best we can. And someday, too, we'll need forgiveness. Just for today, I will let go of my resentments. Today, if I am wronged, I will practice forgiveness, knowing that I need forgiveness myself. Perfect.
You're gonna have to read the comments and shit because I can't see them
I got
since
you.
we're all side.
Sam said she shared to Hope Dealers NA and High on Hope. Thanks, Sam. She's always on it.
We can't do it like this no more.
Okay, okay. It's not my fault it's raining. If it wasn't raining, I would just be on the stoop and then we would be normal. So,
Stoop.
yeah, that's what we call it, the stoop. Well, it's only like, what is it, 1.25 step? Seriously.
The step.
I mean, that's all, it's the stoop. I just call it the stoop. Um,
Okay.
so I was thinking while I was in the shower, because I remember I told you that I asked Josh, when he said about forgiveness, like us forgiving other people or other people forgiving us, or, what was he talking about specifically? And he said all of it. And so while I was in the shower, I was thinking to myself, um, I've never forgiven my mother for not telling me who my dad was. Like, I know him now, but I have not forgiven her for basically um, keeping him away from me all these years, Like, I didn't think it ever really affected me, but it does affect me. It makes me think of how different would my life have been. Amanda said, I need to forgive myself first. You do.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
You have to.
That's what I was gonna talk about.
If you can't forgive yourself, how is anybody else going to forgive you? Go ahead, Joe.
Um, yeah, I was gonna talk about that. I was gonna focus on, forgiving yourself
Mhm.
because, uh, that's kind of where it starts.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you can't heal your past until you deal with the present. So I feel like, if you if you forgive yourself now for all the shit you did, then you can go back and, start forgiving other people and kind of letting that shit go. Because I feel like, um, addicts and alcoholics and just people in general, man, they hold grudges and
Hmm.
it's baggage that's unnecessary to hang on to, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, when I was younger and I was going through a rough time period, I had this like I don't know, I had like this like moment of reality. Like I saw things different and I just kind of like, kind of took responsibility over myself and my own actions and just kind of, told myself that anything that happens to me or anything that I do or anything in my life, I'm somehow responsible for. And by holding myself accountable for it, and hold myself responsible, it allowed me to start to take control over my life instead of, you know, having that mentality like because of some of the shit I went through, like I'm stuck here and I gotta hold all these. It puts a chip on your shoulder and
Hmm.
it just, I mean, it's heavy to carry. You know what I mean? It's heavy to carry around all the time when you got this big chip on your shoulder and you hold all these grudges towards people. And when you start to mature and you let some of that shit go, you look back on it and you realize like, it either happened for a reason or, the shit that I'm mad about wasn't really as serious. It just got
Right.
built up because I kept hanging on to it. And
Yeah.
I kept having to validate why I'm so angry at this person or, at this situation. And you
Mhm.
realize like it wasn't really that big of a deal. You may realize that you're not even really mad at that person. It
Right.
was just it was just something that during that time period and you hang on to it and over the years it builds up for no reason and it's built up on like you know false ideas and false beliefs because you just held on to it for so long.
Hmm.
And I feel like once you forgive yourself and you let go of some of the shit that you've done, then you can go back and you know forgive other people, and then maybe that spins around to you and they start forgiving you for the stuff that you did.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important. Forgiveness is important in any
Hmm.
situation, but just like how you have to work on yourself, and focus on yourself, the same goes to, you have to forgive yourself. And I feel like a lot of addicts and alcoholics, I know from my mom, like the more you fuck up and the more you
Mm-hmm.
burn people and the more you do wrong towards people, the worse that shame gets, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that guilt gets, the guilt and the shame just keeps growing and growing and growing, and you get that point where you feel like you're at the point of no return, like, oh, I done messed up too much now, I can't turn it back now, and you just,
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
yeah,
Amanda said, that is the hardest part. I struggle daily and beat myself up over being or not being what my son needs me to be. I need to let go of all the things I have done to myself and others around me. I find the grudge we carry often brought me back to the drugs and the streets. Yeah. And I feel like that was a big thing for your mom because I feel like up until this last time, she hadn't like really forgave herself. Like we all had said to her, I know that you had said to her and Josh had said to her, you know, like, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. What I'm worried about is what you're doing now. And I think that's what really helped her this time is that she finally forgave herself for, you know, all the years of damage.
yeah. I mean, I told her, I was like, the moment you get clean, it starts. We can start over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're the only one that cares about that shit,
Right.
and everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? There are people out there. Um, I know my brother's like one of them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? There are
Yeah.
people out there, man, that hold grudges. You fuck them over once, and that's it. That's all it takes for some people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine. That's fine for them. If that's how they are. But I try to tell him all the time, and I try to tell other people that might be like that. It's like that hate is baggage, man. Like
Yeah.
that,
It is.
you could get so much more by forgiving that person and having that relationship than you could holding that grudge.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have a breaking point, man, because like my thing is like with addicts and alcoholics and people who are fucking up for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more likely to forgive you and to accept you more than I am somebody else who is just a piece of shit normally. You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
are some people out there, that you're gonna meet in life who are just snakes and pieces of shit, and they don't need to be high or drunk to be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna, I can understand. Like for people like that, that's the people that I don't associate with, and I don't want nothing to do with them. I don't need them in my life. But if I know deep down inside, if I know the real you, and I know you're a good person, um, I have no problem with forgiving you, and as long as at some point in time you change the behavior,
Yeah.
and that's what I was trying to, that's what I try to tell my mom. Like I think you're a great person, and you know, as soon as you let go, I let go. You know what I mean? So as soon
Yeah.
as you get clean, we can forget about all that shit. That shit don't matter, you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
because I know who she really is.
Yeah. Amanda said I have to cut myself off, but have to go to conferences for my little guy. Oh, we'll recap later. Love you all today. Stay strong and thank you for reminding me. Thanks for finding us, Amanda. Have a great day. By the way, I just wanted to let everybody know yesterday I asked if anybody wanted to help. Amanda was looking for NA literature, and I had someone message me last night that has already shipped them to my house. Super excited. Thank you. Um, I
Thank
feel
you.
I feel like yesterday somebody brought up about dealing with family members who hadn't accepted them, remember?
Yeah, I do.
And I think that this kind of ties into that as well because, I don't know what obviously we don't know what the relationship was like, but generally speaking, addicts ruin just about any relationship they have. And so I feel like, forgiveness ties into that because one, they don't owe her forgiveness, they don't owe her anything. So I hope that she accepts, that they may not forgive her. But she also, to me, I feel like she needs to forgive them for not being around her right now because it's like you said yesterday, Shriver said yesterday, people are scared and people get hurt. And when they get hurt, it's not easy to forgive and go back to how things were before.
Right.
So,
That's what I was telling her yesterday. Like, you can't worry about that shit right now. You gotta focus on yourself
mm-hmm.
because you can't let that shit, rent space in your head, because that could be something that could push you back out there, because you're gonna feel like, well, why am I doing this
Right.
if they don't forgive? It's like that mentality where, and where in like the rooms and shit, they'll tell you that, you need to do it for you or it'll never work.
Yeah.
If you're always doing it for somebody else, it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it was kind of 50-50, because what really like motivates me is, having my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the be all end all, so like, but I also want it better for my life at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people out there who just try to get clean and sober for somebody else, and that shit ain't never gonna work. You got to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I told her yesterday that, you need to work on you and don't worry about anybody else right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit'll come with time.
It does. Um, can I read this other just for today for the forgiveness? There's more than one. Do you care?
Nah, go ahead.
Okay. So another one I found was January 17th, forgiveness. As we realize our need to be forgiven, we tend to be more forgiving. At least we know that we are no longer intentionally making life miserable for people. Basic text, page 39 to 40. In our addiction, we often treated others badly, sometimes deliberately finding ways to make their lives miserable. In our recovery, we may still have a tendency to pass judgment on others' actions because we think we know how that person should behave. But as we progress in our recovery, we often find that to accept ourselves, we must accept those around us. It may be difficult to watch as someone's insanity manifests itself. But if we detach ourselves from the problem, we can start living in the solution. And if we feel affected by another's actions, we can extend the principle of forgiveness. Just for today, I will strive to forgive rather than be forgiven. I will try to act in such a way that I feel worthy of self-love. So, I don't feel like I have a whole lot to say. Probably forgiveness might be something I should work on. Your mom would always tell me when I would read the Just for Today, if I didn't have anything to say about it, it was because I needed to work on it.
Maybe.
She's pretty good. She's pretty good at that stuff.
I don't know, man. Some they throw open-ended topics out there. Like, what was the real one for today? Read the
I
real
can get,
just for today.
okay. Today's the 15th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Letting go. Take my will and my life. Guide me in my recovery. Show me how to live. Basic text, page 26. How do we begin the process of letting our higher power guide our lives? When we seek advice about situations that trouble us, we often find that our higher power works through others. When we accept that we don't have all the answers, we open ourselves to new and different options. A willingness to let go of our preconceived ideas and opinions opens the channel for spiritual guidance to light our way. At times, we must be driven to the point of distraction before we are ready to turn difficult situations over to our higher power. Anxiously plotting, struggling, planning, worrying, none of these suffice. We can be sure that if we turn our problems over to our higher power through listening to others share their experience, or in the quiet of meditation, the answers will come. There is no point in living a frantic existence. Charging through life like the house is on fire exhausts us and gets us nowhere. In the long run, no amount of manipulation on our part will change a situation. When we let go and allow ourselves access to a higher power, we will discover the best way to proceed. Rest assured, answers derived from our sound spiritual basis will be far superior to any answers we could concoct on our own. Just for today, I will let go and let my higher power guide my life. I always